Alters is a superhero comic book series by Aftershock Comics. The first issue was published in September 2016, and its first 5 issues were collected in a graphic novel recently. The comic opens with the main heroine Chalice writing a diary, which we read through caption boxes. This is a smart way of utilising caption boxes by using them as the protagonist's narration, but also including a canon reason for the narration to exist. She introduces the comic's world to us, which is done at a decent pace to allow us to understand the universe the comic is set in. In just 3 pages it manages to give a substantial backstory to superpowers. It's exposition, but it's exposition done well. If you've heard of this comic, you've likely heard about its protagonist Chalice being transgender. The series is written by Paul Jenkins, a cisgender male. A trans female lead being written by a cis male could have gone wrong, but luckily Paul Jenkins considered this, researching and consulting trans people about the series to ensure that the scripts were satisfactory. Having a closeted trans character as a lead in a superhero series is smart, drawing parallels between being closeted and superheroes hiding their alter egos. This however also creates a small problem. At first the comic spends too many pages focusing on her being closeted. The scenes were done for a valid reason, that being to build backstory and to show the difficulties of being in the closet, although it dragged for longer than it should have. Seeing her hiding her true self from her family was enough, the same didn't have to be repeated with Darren. Luckily, the frequency of these scenes died down later in the story. Hopefully later in the series it will get to a point where Chalice is no longer labelled as trans and just as herself, or at least have her spend more time with allies she's come out to, like the LGBT support group who showed up for 2 pages in issue 4. The other characters are interesting and their personalities are one of the series' strong points. The concept of alters in Alters is very similar to mutants in X-Men, so having characters whose personalities and quirks varied from that of the X-Men characters forgave the similarity in concepts. The supporting characters, especially Octavian, are interesting and will hopefully be developed further later in the series. It has been mentioned that in the future the series may focus on different characters, however the current lineup of characters is good, so hopefully it's a long time before that happens. Matterman is well done, being a well-made and designed character who is both intimidating and interesting. The 3 side villains aren't as interesting character-wise, but aren't anywhere near bad, and all still have great designs. Good design and art is present throughout the series, with all the characters appearing visually pleasing and mostly varied. Layla Lays draws fine art which is improved greatly by Tamara Bonvillain's beautiful colouring. The series handles its themes well, and comic fans should definitely give this series a chance.